Elise.
Lucian. The Elise also banned by Weibo.
Yeah, I was about to call out, I think the Elise is probably going to follow to try and just keep TT off of these AD mids as much as they can. Now, the question really lies in what TT actually have in their locker beyond that, right? The Maokai still up and available. You would suspect, perhaps, that Karsa would like to first pick that one away, but TT are going to ban it. So that's at the point now where we start to look at things like the Wukong and the Vi for the jungle pool. Weibo will pick up the Varus as the first pick to ensure that they can try and guarantee a strong lane. Unlike last time where, you know, Sivir Yumi is going to sit there and scale, but it's not going to be much in the means of agency. And now TT, with the bans having been swapped up, have the Ashe up and available to lock in.
No big Maokai combo there, obviously banned away, but still the Ashe provides so much of that utility. Still has that flexibility as well. Can be played in support or in ADC position. We do want to check into this priority of the Vi, which would be an interesting choice, at least in the setup for TT here, with the Enchant Crystal Arrow, the Cease and Desist, really leans to them. And it would also be a takeaway of Karsa's more played champion in the Vi there as well. So that'll be the first two lock-ins for TT. And now we get the final picks for Weibo in their first phase.
Heimerdinger plus Wukong, probably, likely.
Think he's going to go back for the Wukong?
Yeah, you can't really go towards anything else unless you have some kind of weird matchup that, you know, you've been testing out. I feel like typically Karsa stays on the beaten path for meta. We'll see. Maybe goes for something similar, or maybe Weibo prioritize this Ksante, which they're hovering, which TheShy, of course, had a fair amount of success in the early weeks on, but, you know, the Wukong, you kind of want a jungler here, otherwise the pool gets really pinched out with 3 bans and a pick already on the table. So there's the Wukong, and now TT, Jhin. Okay. It's the bot lane, Mel. It's what we've come to expect. But it doesn't make it any less boring sometimes. We'll see what TT want to ban away, though. It seems like Sion taken off the board. I feel like that just says to me that they're not going to have a tank-killing champion, and they were afraid that TheShy would press the Sion button. With the Jhin and the Ashe and the Vi. Not the best tank busters in the world, so they just go for that arena. Now Weibo also have the opportunity perhaps to try and strip away some of the more problematic champions which TT could look to pick up in the next phase.
Now we're in that second phase of bans on the Weibo side. They do ban away the Fiora against Hoya. And Ksante, I feel like, might be a bait here. We have seen a lot of very strong responses to Ksante's. I do wonder if it is going to take this last ban here, but if it does, I'm very interested to see which one of these top laners is going to be willing to go into it. And kind of, especially for TT, where their counter pick comes through.
Yeah, for me, you ban away the Fiora. That's obviously one of the more picked champions into Ksante. So it feels like you're trying to set up TT to lock that in. And then TheShy goes something which he feels like he can try and slam the lane with. I mean, Gwen could be a technically very
We've seen like the Olafs, the Dariuses also be answers. We've seen some of the Gnars as well.
Yeah, I'm trying to get a little more creative, but it looks like Weibo are just going to go towards the Gnar in the end. And I feel like TT, Ucal in particular, will probably still be okay locking in the Silas. However, if Weibo just decide to stab it away from TT, then of course it's just not available. We'll see what Xiaohu wants to go towards as he's playing with a couple of hovers. Crisp, it seems like those would be 2 strong answers for Xiaohu rather in this kind of spot. Anyway, going towards the side lane to impact, and that'll be what it is.
That's what fits him the best, right? That's what we've seen him getting into those side lanes, getting proactive at the level 6 mark will be really, really big for Xiaohu. Not able to really find that last game. We'll be looking for that this time around. But now we got to put all eyes on Ucal, see what he's going to choose into this one. It is the Cassiopeia that comes through, and he's racking up these unique champ picks as well. It still will be the second time he's played it this spring split.
Yeah, okay. So Cassiopeia here. I imagine, off the top of my head, that the early laning phase might be a little bit rough for Xiaohu. Taliyah, in the early stages, doesn't really have, like, super strong trading patterns if you end up missing out on the Unraveled Earth plus the W combo. So Ucal in the extended trade is going to have a really, really good time, as Cassio often does. And I think it just sets up for a very, very strong 2v2 in the mid-jungle, which, again, is something that always like to see teams fall back on sometimes when you have a game like the last, but still very much able to impact the side lanes with this Taliyah pick, and that's what we're going to have to track the most, I feel, for Weibo in the early stages.
TT getting that 5 gold on Ucal. You know where that resource is going. I get to hear those gyos, though, started up from both sides of TT and Weibo Gaming. A little bit of vision game played out by Karsa early on here. And for me, all eyes on Karsa. Again, not having that game one that he maybe wants to have, and Beichuan having exactly what he wanted to have. Weibo looking for a little bit of cheese here, though, with a late fight on bottom side. Xiaohu has shown up. They see him, though. And that means Huanfeng and Yaoyao will play very defensively. It's double Arcane Comet bot lane, though, so some of this poke can really do some work.
Yeah. When that starts to stack up, the Scorch as well. Probably been taken by both Light and Crisp. We did have the runes up a second ago. I didn't actually glimpse at them. I'm pretty sure that's likely the runes they've gone for, so just maximum poke inside of this lane. Ucal just coming away from that red buff. I'm just looking for a little bit of information. Yeah, interesting to see this Cassiopeia come out in this spot. Excited to see how he pilots it. And again, I feel like inside the laning phase, I expect it to fare pretty well. And I feel like it's a lot to do with kind of that 2v2 situation. Trying to shut down Karsa on his engages as well in the mid game with the Petrify engage is going to be massive. So I quite like it in this spot, to be entirely honest with you. And even if it can maybe get a little bit outranged by the Lethality Varus and the Heimerdinger, it shouldn't really matter too much as long as he can execute on those diving members of Weibo.
And we saw last game as well, Beichuan had so much of that bounce back towards mid lane, the repeat ganks onto Xiaohu, and I do wonder if we continue to get that here. Hawk Shot does come through to spot out Karsa, though, and that's a key piece of information, especially in the early machinations of TT.
Absolutely. Now Hoya will have a good intonation on where Karsa is likely going to be in the next 30, 40, 50-ish seconds. And just ensure that he can position himself in a way which can't be exposed by a gank. Beichuan is pathing down potentially to a bot gank, but just getting a little bit more vision with the Pixel Brush Ward. And we'll just go back to clearing. So see what the early jungle action will be, but for now, at the very least, Beichuan is going to be here on the bottom side and covering with Huanfeng and Yaoyao. This Karsa will go towards the top side and likely try and skewer this skull crab.
Even the traded down looks like a pretty reserved early pathing for both of these junglers, even though we put so much of that positional value on mid-jungle duo. We're getting more action to the bot lane, and as expected with these kind of compositions that we've gotten for, as TT pushing in that bottom side of the map, we'll get Karsa on his move, will be known to be up here, trying to take this Scuttle Crab, finds a little bit of vision there to get himself some gold, but a little bit of stagnation in the early parts of this game, even after that try from Xiaohu down bottom lane. Huanfeng taking a good amount of poke, though. Crisp, little sidestep there, look at that.
Crisp almost steps up too far forward, to be honest with you. If that W connects, he'd be in a little bit of trouble. Maybe have to use the summoner spells at the very least. There's, speaking of summoner spell usage, healer cleanse has to be forced out. But a lot of damage was also still traded back onto Crisp. So Beichuan,
he's not spotted.
Shot to blood in the water, has come down here. He's not
I thought he was going to go either way.
So did I. He's going to just make his way through the track rush. But he's going to see Karsa on that wall.
Like a vault breaker over the well, but yeah, that was a nice little ward position there. See Huanfeng with no mana but a 4th shot available. Does just clear that last minion and pull back for TT. This is the vault breaker used for a little bit of distance there, but Karsa wanted to just check if there was a Scuttle Crab still available down there. And ships in the night, it seems, so far for Beichuan and Karsa.
Both just backing away. So I feel like in terms of first dragon, as that spawns up, all the pressure has actually been on the side of TT with Huanfeng and Yaoyao. So curious to see whether or not TT want to try and put a lot of early priority on that one. They do have very strong team fighting tools and ultimates at their disposal. So I feel like if they do end up letting this one go, as long as they don't fall too far behind in terms of gold, they should always be okay to find some contests. So
loving this though. Look, move from Ucal up towards top side. You got pings coming in. Beichuan is up there as well, was looking for some movement, trying to get proactive before Xiaohu gets this Weaver's Wall. even if you're in that scaling pick of the Cassiopeia.
Exactly. Cassio can be very, very immovable at times. It's a very, very strong pick when taken so late into a draft, and you've seen everything. So Ucal very confident that this was a Cassiopeia angle, of course, as spoke about first dragon, who'd want to go where. TT are in a position where they could technically come down and interrupt this. And it seems like Karsa and Xiaohu also get the same read. Though TT, for now, are just going to be on the back foot in terms of that contest. Karsa's definitely feeling very tentative about actually starting it up. He's just hanging around in the river, perhaps waiting for Light and Crisp to get the shove in before he truly commits to the dragon.
I mean, they're putting a lot of work into Yaoya and Huanfeng. Beichuan will come around the edge here, being seen by Karsa. First move from Weibo as mid lane. Ucal taking a decent amount, but will be able to connect with his jungler. Yaoya coming around the edge, though. Crisp want to find Beichuan. Doesn't find him, dragging down about 2,000 health. TT should back off of this one, but they're still hovering. Maybe looking to pick up some kills on the back end of it as the separation comes through. First dragon to Weibo Gaming.
Not too bad. And they don't really lose anything for it, Weibo, so very happy on the takedown. And I think now it's just going to be about the neutral objective game. I think once level 6 comes in, TT will have a lot more agency to work with via, you know, it's plug and play. You just queue forward, and that's it. Finally lock down target, try and burst them down. I think for Weibo, they're going to be very, very weary of that. So I'm looking towards TT maybe in about 2 minutes time once Beichuan has that, and Yaoya a little bit further down the line once he hits level 6. That's the combination I've been seeing a lot as well, the Vi plus that Ashe. Firing out the arrow and then trying to lock down the target with the cease and desist on top of it. It's just chain CC for days that you can't really get away from, and it's very, very potent. So I'm expecting TT to try and use that one to their advantage.
And I've been waiting to see how long it is going to be till we get a roam from both supports. We actually saw Yaoya stop off in the jungle just to maybe roam towards mid lane. But not having that level 6 mark, you got to get that before Yaoya can really have that engaged potential. And now the siege for Weibo is very strong in the bottom lane. They will get this turret plate here. Chains of Corruption connecting. They have a decent amount of poke back. Hail of arrows. So close to getting first blood for Weibo.
Monka S, man. That was so much damage. Yaoya's just going to take a step back, chug on a couple of pots, but
Chris has level 6 now.
He does. Oh, Beichuan's on a ward. Doesn't matter.
Uh-oh. Kirk call. Crisp, you're going down. And first blood turned back. Ucal has showed up in a flash from Light. The fangs sink deep. The deadly flourish forces the cleanse out for Weibo. And you think they're going to get first blood. It's turned around on its head by TT.
Yeah, really nice collapse there from TT. And we said, you know, we'd expect Xiaohu to be down here on the first moves, but Ucal just gives up the wave. The Herald's traded on the top side, so maybe Karsa can come towards the mid lane and trade out some gold here. But that's a massive swing in the bottom side tempo that was going on, because Light and Crisp were smashing Huanfeng and Yaoya in the pressure department. This should be about 4 plates here from Karsa and Xiaohu. Help, they could get
that's
the
actually so big.
Tower almost. If they have enough time, I think they do. 1k HP. Xiaohu's left it. I feel like it's perhaps not worth it, or that Karsa wants to commit, they can. I feel that's a bit of a misstep. They could have definitely taken this tower here. I think they should commit for it in my mind. But maybe expecting TT to respond a little more heavy-handedly than they actually ended up doing. So the tower still stands, but the gold that swung back isn't too terrible, as Beichuan just over the wall. Vault Breaker into ultimate. What can you do at this long range, right? It's too difficult with the cease and desist and the curtain call. Crisp was just blown up, and I will give credit to Light. Very fancy feat. Dodge on the first Noxious Blast. Dodge on the second one as well, to ensure that he can at the very least walk out of that play. But great collapse from TT.
Some of the moments, the decisiveness leaning in TT's favor here, where you're seeing some of those moments from Weibo last game really lean to their side. Now, that gold given over because of those plates does give Weibo this early advantage, but TT know they can collapse potentially onto Xiaohu and make a play in mid lane. Not going to come to fruition though, but they are looking, they are hunting. And we have first item completion on the map. It is Frostfire Gauntlet for Hoya.
Yep, and he's even ghosted back to lane. See, by
You gotta go fast.
the scoreboard. It's got to go
The
fast.
food's getting cold on his date with TheShy in the top lane, man. It's Valentine's Day. He went back home. He got roses. It's coming out. They're gonna re-establish their 3-course meal.
Oh, hello. With the slow. Yeah, I was
They're
about
in
to
the
say,
second
he could actually
course
chase
now.
TheShy down.
I don't
He's
know
just
if
dead.
TheShy likes any of this food that Hoya has chosen as another solo kill to the top laner of TT. And he said he's better than TheShy. Well, in this series, he is.
My goodness, he just one-shots him, man. What can TheShy do there in mini form? Hoya has that completed item, the Sheen procs as well. So powerful in a situation like that.
Game.
Yeah, it did. It did. And even Ucal went up there and got... That's how you complete the circle. Ucal now has to go top and also solo kill TheShy.
I see where your head's at. I see where your head's at.
Yeah.
Now, Karsa was actually hovering bottom side. I thought maybe they might make a move. Weaver's Wall has not been used from Xiaohu from the mid lane, and we needed to see some of that proactivity. And speaking of, Hoya getting the better of TheShy.
And the whole reason why this happens is because TheShy is still exhausted. He just came out of Mega Gnar form. And Hoya just recognizes this, dashes onto the minion, extra range when you dash onto an ally. W in. Of course, when you all out, the W cooldown gets refreshed. So he knows he can just use it for a bit of damage in CC. And as soon as he sees that first bit of damage come down onto TheShy, he's like, yeah, I can probably just one-shot this guy, can't I? He just presses his R key. It's great. And Hoya finds himself a lead in the top side of the map.
We see a crown completion for Xiaohu in the mid lane, so not opting into any kind of damage centric. You're gonna go with a little bit more of that sustained damage mitigation, especially against Ucal's straight up burst with the petrifying gaze. But Dragon is on the table here. Weibo floating down this way with Beichuan going towards top side. I wonder if they can capitalize, get a second Dragon in a row. Beichuan actually hovering over mid lane. Flash is available for Xiaohu. Yep. He has that crown completion, but it's already down. And intended Crisero dodged out, but Xiaohu, he'll go down. A kill to Ucal. And TT, they're making Weibo look like fools.
Yeah, Kral's not going to save from that. I like the idea of the itemization, though. It's more to do with sort of mid-game picks where if you get jumped on super quick, it can definitely save you a lot of HP, that crown. But in this instance, Ucal flashes forward after it's shattered, and at that point, you just die. Now, Weibo will get the second dragon of the game. What would be a little bit unfortunate is if they roll Cloud, but they roll Mountain, so they're fine.
But at this point, we've got a lot of Mountain dragons, too, so we might have to
we've got a lot of Mountains today.
But I do think that Weibo, they're going to be relying on some of that veterancy to keep a cool head here. Finally, that mid lane tower falls. They got the second dragon. They are pulling back resources, but Hoya wants to get another kill here as Beichuan coming up. And TheShy, you ain't got Mega Gnar. You need some stimulants here, but he doesn't have what it takes to get it up, and Beichuan gets the kill.
Just run over, and I'm going to be honest, I think in the extended play there, TheShy was so out of position. Hoya probably could have solo killed him without the assistance there of Beichuan, but nonetheless, he has it, and they lock down TheShy again. TheShy has not really been able to get out to his usual shenanigans. Hoya really has had his number so far in this series. First of the Silence pick now with Ksante. And TT as a whole have come alive. Given up these first two dragons, I suspect they will look to contest this next Rift Herald, and of course then the subsequent dragon in 4 minutes time. They've got items starting to come in now. Cleaver first for Beichuan. Has a lot of physical damage on his team. Not going to go towards the Chempunk, looking to amplify the damage of some of his teammates. And Ucal going towards the Archangels. Once that second item comes in, it's going to be so difficult to ever kill the snake through all of the damage you have to run through, but also the HP plus the lifeline shield. It's just so obnoxious, and it's one of the first things I immediately said in my head once I saw those changes come through. And now TT should look to try and use some of that power that they have right now, but also in the next couple of minutes.
Oh, they have no idea they're getting flanked right now. Yao flashes out, though, that Tectonic. As now TP coming in. This is Hoya. They have caught out a Weaver's walling Xiaohu. And that's 0-2 for your solo laners, Weibo. What's going on?
I mean, Weibo are just out of sorts right now, and TT are happy to scavenge as they're going to pick up this Herald. TP is going to come and defend this bottom side tower from Ucal, so they're not even going to get much across map. Maybe Karsa can look for a miracle steal just to deny the objective, but Do you really want to give up your life? It
They're
looks like
playing themselves. Oh my God, Crisp is tanking up, but now Karsa's trying to come back in. Piercing arrow hits Xiaohu getting close, but Karsa not able to finish off the kill. And that's 7-0. And I hear the thunder rumbling.
My goodness. This is a bit of a smacking. I don't know what else to say. I'm a bit gobsmacked, to be honest with you. I like the initial idea of this pick here, but the flash just comes out in time from Xiaohu, and after that, turnaround is just on. Xiaohu fires the ult really nice over the terrain to try and give as little reaction time over to Xiaohu as possible, but he's just in the middle of too many members. And then the turnaround, though, remember, the ease of access for a target from Beichuan is just there. He sees him on the wall and with Hoya standing there, and Crisp just gets one shot, as he should, for stepping up that far forward. Karsa tries to turn around the damage onto Beichuan, but he just doesn't quite have it. And Crisp also survives. Really nice knockback there from Hoya.
See a picture-in-picture, they tried to get an engage there on a Xiaohu. Sideline tower will go over to Weibo, so they'll get their second, while TT just claim their first. But man, you asked, coming off that game number 1, coming into game number 2, was it a fluke? Did Weibo just not approach the game number 1 the way they should have? Well, right now, TT are making a statement in this series against Weibo to push them into a 4-series win streak. And it's off the back of these solo laners. It's off the back of battening down the hatches bot lane and seeing what Ucal and Hoya can say. And it's been yelling from the top of the mountaintop since this series had started.
Absolutely, and you know, there's things to say about the win streak where it's like, well, you know, 2 of them have been kind of low-standing teams, but if they add Weibo to that list, all of a sudden it doesn't really matter if they took down some of those lower-standing teams. You've taken down Weibo and IG in that same win streak, so you really start to establish yourself as, you know, a potential playoffs hopeful. As now TT kind of have a bit of an awkward position here alongside Weibo, who are trying to get a little bit of vision in. Weibo really want this 3rd dragon to just keep the soul hopes alive, but I think the engage tools, it's not powerful. Down. That's a cleanse, yeah.
That's like a 45-second cooldown for the cleanse cooldown. You'll take that. And
Absolutely,
that dragon spawning mid-priority is now taking the name of the game.
Exactly, and the Herald gonna get dropped here. So Weibo are gonna have to answer this. We'll see how much TT actually want to try and guide this one through, or whether they're just gonna use it as a means to enter the river. As those turrets will actually temporarily slow it down, but it's still gonna go in for the charge, and that dragon is being soloed down by Ucal. I think the rest of TT
Ucal doing all the solo
it.
dragons now. The Yone, now the Cassiopeia. He's on his 2nd item spike. He's feeling confident. He got a little bit of help from Beichuan. As TheShy trying to take the tier 2 tower on the top side will get responded by Hoya. And Weibo just looking for some more resources in TT's top side of the map.
Yeah, whatever they can get right now is going to be crucial in just trying to keep the gold even, right? Even though they're down 7 kills, they do have the gold in total to stand up for now. But it just feels like TT have been a lot more on the ball using their tools to actually look for fights and proactive fights. And if we get to a point where, you know, a Baron's on the cards and TT find another successful fight, they'll no doubt go towards that objective and try and pressure Weibo, if there are any members left, into a poor situation where they have to contest it, and then potentially they'll end up losing more. For now, though, Weibo still remain in arm's reach, definitely in terms of the gold, so they're definitely not out of it yet.
Not out of it any means necessary here for Weibo to get back into it, though, as it will be barren now on the map. I don't think it's a necessary instant startup, but it's something that TT can play around. Umbral Glaive has been completed for Xiaohu. You got the lethality items starting to stack up in the bottom lane, and now that you have some of that response in item completions for both sides, I feel like those fights will be more contested, but you gotta expect TT continue to look for these picks with all the tools they have in their disposal. And
I've also got to mention, Ucal very soon is actually going to hit level 15.
They are all by themselves over here?
Ucal is very, very strong right now. I don't think they mind. If they dash into Ucal, Ucal will eat them for breakfast. As that row is about to fully complete, and he's going to be super far ahead of everyone in the XP department. He already is individually. That whole additional level is just going to get him to an even more unkillable state as he ticks over. And TT slowed down the game. Remember, they are the ones with the agency tools. It feels like for Weibo, they really have to, you know, go over the mountain to force an engage between Karsa and perhaps Light.
But do you see any end of the tunnel here for Weibo in the late game? I know in game one, they definitely had more of a, oh my god, if you get this team comp to 35 minutes with items, like, oh, you're not going to have fun for TT. But in this one, it feels a little bit different.
Yeah, I don't feel like Weibo have the same level of scaling afforded to them like they did in game number one. I think TT, honestly, almost Ucal alone, I have a lot of faith in a pick like Cassio in a spot like this, where so long as the cast doesn't get bursted down, you're always going to be okay. And building towards a Rod of Ages as well, or not a Rod of Ages, rather a Rylai's. They both start with an R, forgive me. There you go, Force maybe.
No, Hoya going back in though. TheShy doesn't have Gnar. He's still on cooldown, starting to stack up that rage bar now. As TT moving on to the mid lane tower though. Got a potential for a reverse engage. Weaver's wall coming out from Xiaohu to try to get in front and center. Huanfeng having to use that cleanse. They found a little double knockup. The Hoya will be onto TheShy. Got to be a little bit careful about the setup. Huanfeng ready to open the curtain call from the back line as Weibo defend against their mid lane push from TT.
Yeah, all right. Defended really well there by Weibo. They don't even lose their tier 1, which, to be honest with you, I feel like it's quite fortunate TT had first move onto that one. They're actually going to turn it around and maybe get this tier 2 tower. Ultimate's almost back up for Yao, and you can see Beichuan, he's eyeing up potentially a flank. It's going to be a long one.
Curtain calls open up here. Light flashing away already. Enchanted Crystal Arrow connects, but they've already found the engage they wanted onto TheShy. He's little mini Gnar, but Beichuan, he's not going to go down just yet. Karsa, he wants him so bad, but you can't have him today. And that's a big turnaround from TT. A Xiaohu drag back will not go down just yet. Ucal gets some shots back into him, but TT, they've fought so well in so many fights, and they pull another one back.
Yeah, Karsa isn't able to find the execute there to anyone, and TT walk away with all 5 members. They've lost a lot of summoner spells though, and that could be very crucial for this next team fight. If Weibo can actually find a bit of a disjointed TT, without those summoner spells, it could get really, really tricky as TheShy gets focused down here by Beichuan and by the last couple of shots in the curtain call. You can see just wants Beichuan so bad, but the ally shielding there from Hoya, excellent, and nothing you can do. Gets 4-shotted down by Huanfeng. TheShy almost gets burned down by Ucal. And Ucal doesn't quite have the Rylai's. If he had it here, my goodness, it'll be so scary.
Do TT know that it's Karsa's birthday? Like
No.
I feel like if they knew, they would give him a little present.
In fact, I think they do know, and I think that's probably spurring them to play like this right now.
You had too cool of an intro. We can't let you win. Dragon is on the table. Karsa into the pit. He's done this again. He doesn't get it this time. Not going his way. Now TT, though, Huanfeng is very, very low. Oh, my goodness. The curtain call is out yet again. A little bit of poke back from Light from Crisp. Now Hoya is by himself, and he will find himself on a gray screen.
Yeah, if you're wondering why Hoya path back down like that towards Weibo, it's because he could maybe get the extended dash there. Oh, Beichuan, not going to get Mega Gnar ulted there. Towards the rest of TT. Now, Weibo, having lost that dragon, are actually eyeing up the Baron just because Hoya's dead. There's no teleport on him. And
Decisiveness.
TheShy is keeping Beichuan away. He's zoning him so far out.
They have to know.
Dropping so quick. It's gone. It's gone. So they're going to try and turn this into a pick onto TheShy.
They get the deadly flare. It's TheShy getting lower and lower. Kill going over to Huanfeng. Baron down. Yao going for the Enchanted Crystal Arrow. No follow-up behind, though. Maybe he can get some down onto Chris. His back's completed from Weibo. They lose their side laner, but the big bonus is the fact that they have this Baron for 3 more minutes.
Yeah, honestly, really, really smart decision-making from Weibo there off the back of that pick. I think you can't really do anything else but just take that Baron away. At that point, with no Dragon available, you'd have to expect TT would put so much pressure down to a point where it's just going to be impossible to ever walk in to that top side of river. So with that objective gone, like you say, 3 minutes of respite to take a breath and hopefully try and collect some gold, get Xiaohu to a point where he's 3 items, get Light into a position where he can actually layer in some damage, and maybe then you can really look for something. You really have to try and leverage the very limited poke that Light is going to be able to provide for you. There's no extra poke from like a Jace or anything like that. It's just him as this is an extremely close smite. I believe it went down to 20 HP from Karsa's smite. Yeah, that's really unlucky. Almost did it again.
That's so close to what we saw in game number 1. I'm going to deny the scaling, the stacking from TT. Hoya, like you said, trying to get a little bit of movement here, but
yeah,
not able to find it. And I think that decisiveness definitely showing in that moment from Weibo, but you still have to be very careful because you're at 2 items, now 3 items for Ucal with the relays, but you're looking down the barrel of a very stacked team that with an early advantage that they have been really doing well with, but even with this even lead, at least for Weibo Gaming, it's the execution that's really been there for TT.
Yeah, exactly. Baron definitely done its bit in just ensuring that TT don't snowball a massive advantage that they've already had for a little while. It's a curve will open up, but I don't really think this one's going to get too much. Cancel it even early on, but still, it's going to be within that 2-minute window of the dragon spawning up. So I expect TT will wait for that one and then actually try and look a little more proactively.
They're trying to catch Ucal here.
Oh,
we'll stop early
wow.
though. Enchanted Crystal Arrow came out from Yao Yao just in case, but it won't be a flash or anything. Utilize both mid laners. Button heads a little bit, but the Weaver's wall's down. Petrifying Gaze is not. Goes on to Karsa though. Now it's down.
Yeah, that was great knowledge there from Ucal, just to know that you can interrupt the Taliyah ultimate, and even though he does technically get walled off, no one can actually follow up on any damage, so Ucal safe and sound. He's in this brush. No Petrifying Gaze this time around.
Has Hoya in front though. Maybe it's enough to petrify Weibo. Chain Corruption connected though. You got the knockback as well. Seismic toss. Ucal gets out with the flash though. And TT for now defending. TheShy on the side wants to get a big Mega Gnar into the wall. Hoya baiting him out here maybe. Huanfeng gets that last minion cleared. TT, man, the defenses for both these teams, they do not want to budge.
They do not. There's actually a teleport coming in. That's on a control wall, so they know it's there. They know it's there.
They have a bunch of damage here as well.
There you go.
Cease and desist. And Ucal starting to sink those fangs in. He'll be needing to digest this meal for days as Crisp will be dragged down as well. Hoya's chased down TheShy, who's about to get Mega Gnar. Can he fight this back? Oh, Hoya getting kited out a little bit. And Beichuan has to get out. But a big, big moment for TT on the back of a huge play from Weibo.
Yeah, it's Venom of a Black Mamba from Ucal. Absolutely decimates both Xiaohu and Crisp. And now with 20 seconds on that dragon spawner, you expect they are going to go and pick that one up very happily. And that's 3 Mountain Dragons to stack up. If Ucal doesn't have any, bot resists, but if he purchases any, he's just gonna be unkillable. Ucal plus this TP from Hoya. It's just a pincer. It's a triangle. It's the Bermuda Triangle, and if you end up in it, you disappear. Xiaohu, the victim of that. And Crisp also just gets caught out on the bottom side of that one as, okay, a wall to potentially split off TT, but they've still got access to damaging the dragon. And Karsa,
this would be a third dragon for Beichuan. They're going in on Karsa. Karsa with that knockup for Xiaohu does a little bit. Cease and desist back up though, and he goes on to Xiaohu. Here, Beichuan low, but it goes golden. TheShy waiting in the wings with the Mega Gnar. They get the forward aggression. TheShy wants to flash for it, but can't find it. Nice response flash from TT. It's just a 1-for-1. Both junglers down, and contentious fights for both these two teams.
Yeah, but it's still TT that pick up the dragon, and honestly, all of these resistances are just stacking up with that many, and if they get a third, or fourth rather, it's just going to be so obnoxious with the additional shield as well. Get the replay. As I think the big thing to note here is that Ucal isn't actually able to get into a position to really deal, a massive amount of hurt here to Weibo, as they don't really commit too far past the particular line. It's only really TheShy that steps up once he has Mega Gnar. Beichuan, I think, kind of expecting his team to be able to follow up on this ultimate, but they just simply can't because of the threat from TheShy. Does flash forward, does get the flash out of Huanfeng. That's about it. We'll see if they can capitalize on that Weibo in the next couple of fights. Maybe Karsa can finally sneak through the front line and find an engage that finds a little bit of follow-up on top of it. But TT still sat very comfortably in this game with 3 dragons.
Huanfeng on 3 items, Light on 3 items. We're seeing stopwatch there for Ucal. Big situational awareness from TT here. The rest of Weibo positioning around this Baron pit, want to clear out some of this vision game, but also threaten the potential of this. Make TT come into the fight. We are dead even at 30 minutes in, and Weibo say it's time to fight.
They want this though. Resist shredded.
They want the smoke, Jamada. They want the smoke.
Look, all I'm saying is, if I saw a Cassio this fed, I wouldn't be anywhere near the Baron pit, to be entirely honest with you. As mid waves get cleared out, and now it's going to be a bit of a scramble to get back to the river. Let's try and take some control, perhaps. However, TheShy, being so close to Gnar, is actually kind of hanging around. It'll be really smart to try and get it to pop now.
Ooh, there you go.
Yeah, and then this way, Weibo, as the mid wave comes in, it's going to be used to try and contest that, as opposed to get a Baron start up, so Xiaohu be exhausted for a second.
He does have the Gargoyle Stone Plate, so able to take up now after he's gotten that 3rd item completion for himself. So I think Weibo are starting to get some of these online factors for themselves. Beichuan will be seen from that control ward. Curtain call opens up Crisp. He's been separated from the rest of his team. Yes, nobody's there to save him. 4th shot comes in, does hit TheShy on the back end. His Enchanted Crystal Arrow was also used. So Beichuan, Huanfeng, Yao, they've all used their ultimates. And some of these engaged tools not there for TT.
Yeah, kind of awkward there from Beichuan. I think because he knew Crisp had flash, he could very easily flash and drag Beichuan back to the rest of his team. Doesn't end up actually going on to the Heimerdinger, who'd been caught out by the Ashe arrow, just decided to try and pick on TheShy. Ends up having to use his own flash, and now it's a bit of an A-run, isn't it? 5 mid, I guess. You might feel a little bit of an A-run.
A little bit. Is that because I'm from NA? Are you trying to say something here?
I'm making it. Yes, I'm making an NA joke on the LPL broadcast. I know.
Very belittling of you on Valentine's Day when it's supposed to be all about love, Jamada. And
exactly.
I'm not feeling the love anymore.
But the way that I show love is through, you know, banter. And, you know, just poking a little bit of fun at my buddies.
Is that your safe word for toxic?
Is it my safe word? No, you know, it's not really poking too hard, but
all right. Well, hey, I do appreciate the love, at least on Valentine's Day. No love between these 2 teams, though, as TT kind of wrestle back and use some of that early advantage into a very even game state now. I do want to highlight 4th item is there for Ucal. It is the Zanyas. You have the Elixir of Sorcery there for Xiaohu, knowing that these next fights are extremely crucial with Dragon Soul in 35 seconds.
Exactly. TT go and
they burn Baron so fast.
Yeah, they do.
Ucal literally
I'm not gonna lie,
I
think it's dead. I think it's dead already. I don't think
they
Weibo
spotted out. They're moving in. Big moment, Karsa trying to get on the back of the pit, though. They can just turn this. Ucal looking for a big petrifying gaze. Will not find it just yet. He's starting to sink those fangs in, though. He goes forward. He gets a little bit of slow. He gets locked up, though, by Karsa. They get the 4th shot, though, onto Crisp. It's so split, but Hoya has done the thing that nobody feels like anybody ever does for ADCs, and they peeled for Huanfeng, and ends up in a double kill for the bot laner of TT. Deadly Flourish won't be able to fit the follow-up. But bear it in the eyes of the beholder, and that beholder is TT.
Absolutely. Thunder Talk Gaming on the precipice of taking down Weibo here with the Baron. They'll be able to get the soul as well. And that's 4 mounted dragons. They're actually going to try and pick on Yao here. They'll get it. But I don't think it really matters, because Hoya will be able to walk back, and he still has his ult. Yeah, they also don't have a jungler.
Oh no, they're gonna catch him out. Maybe Light having popped that Yumu's. I'm not gonna pull the trigger. That cease and desist is coming up very, very soon. They could just turn onto Light, onto Xiaohu, back onto the dragon. No, this is 4 dragon. They're just gonna try to steal it. Beichuan should be able to just smite it. He does it. It's actually Huanfeng that gets it, but still secured the soul for TT. They will not get Beichuan out of there, but they get everybody else.
All right, Beichuan does die, but they get the soul. It's 4 Mountain Dragon Soul. That is an obnoxious amount of resists to have. And yeah, Weibo, I don't know how they're going to burst through. some of these members now, especially the frontliners who have been a pain in the backside already. This turnaround is great. TheShy gets exhausted, has to use his ult only on Hoya by himself. And like you say, Peel actually comes down from Hoya onto TheShy. Next onto Chris.
My God, I need to screenshot that. I'm going to have that playing above my bed every night. Because, my God, the fact that he's so willing to turn around for Huanfeng, I love it. And Huanfeng has earned that. He is 6-0, 4 items, Lord Doms completed, and they are on top of the game right now for TT.
We love the supportive topside king, don't we, Hoya?
The king that also down smashes on TheShy and says, yo, I'm better than you, and then proves it twice, 2 games in a row. Not bad.
Bro, he has just been command grabbing TheShy, like just on wake up the entire time. That's one for the Fire community. He's just been good this series.
Team also took down YSK. Like, Hoya has been the silent Grim Reaper. If YSK has been the loud Grim Reaper in the LPL. Like, it's actually incredible.
He's just been humbling people. It's been very, very fun to see. And again, you know, he's not necessarily one of the players that is, you know, at the peak of hype in the LPL by any means, but taken some very hefty scalps so far. And now TT with this Baron, they're just looking to find anything they can.
Oh no,
that anything is TheShy.
He just lost the Mega Gnar. He cannot have this happen. And that's so many catches on TheShy that now a little bit of pressure in mid lane opens it like a sieve for TT.
Absolutely. Mid lane now under threat. They've still got the pressure of Huanfeng, of all people, on the bottom side. I'm kind of surprised they give up that mid lane siege, TT. I guess they just want to try and get this tier 2 and ensure that Huanfeng doesn't get picked off. So they'll get it. It's a little bit more standing gold. And to be fair, they chunked out that tier 3 so low that all it'll really take is one good wave and a little bit of timing.
Yeah. And Ucal's pushing another tier 2 in the top side too. So
exactly.
Not
good
much
discipline
to write for Weibo. Yeah, good discipline for TT, playing the map very, very well. But now, Yao maybe getting caught out. Weaver's wall coming out. Weibo know that this is potentially their opportunity to get some gold back, and they do just that on the Xiaohu. But Ucal has already finished his TP. And this is some troublesome gaming, at least for Weibo Gaming, as Xiaohu is gone. And Beichuan on the engage there had that cease and desist, but doesn't pull the trigger because they know they've already gotten what they needed.
Exactly, and they don't have a Baron to go towards or anything like that, but they found, like you say, everything they need. They get Xiaohu on the way out, and they trade the kill, and they're just going to look to reset, spend their gold, and come back out onto the map. I think they are in such a comfortable position right now, TT. They shouldn't really be too worried. Of course, in a game like League of Legends, especially I feel like as the game has somehow made its way silently to the 40-minute mark. This hasn't felt like a 40-minute game to me, but
no,
hey,
it really hasn't. It's just been such an interesting occasion.
It does only take one fight to skew things, and we saw what Weibo did to JDG. So I will hold my breath that we may end up getting a game 3. However, TT have everything and the kitchen sink required to end this game. So we'll see what they actually do with this massive lead. The Baron's up in 90 seconds, and the Elder spawns in about 2 minutes. So
I'm looking at an Elder Dragon fight. They are definitely teeing that one up here as a big... Oh, light?
Wow.
He doesn't have Flash yet. Flash is still not available. They know the timing here as they just got it out. Light is down. You got Karsa who tried to come in and save him. Crisp is over here. Beichuan, he has the GA. He is literally just baiting out the team while they're losing their base. TheShy has to flash away. Beichuan, he will finally die his second death. Ucal wants to find the big petrifying gaze, but they've got them pinned into a corner.
He's got it.
And Ucal's flashing. He's getting them all as he's chasing Crisp down. Fang after Fang after Fang. And TT will fully take out Weibo Gaming. And there ain't no upsets today. Hoya called it from the start.
TT take down Weibo. Not in a 3-game series, but in a 2-game thrashing, and Weibo are just left wondering, and TT will continue their win streak.
Look at that. Look at that. That's how you do it. TT with the gall, the confidence to take these solo lanes into a team like TheShy, like Xiaohu, like Karsa, like Crisp. You got all the names, and it didn't matter, man. TT, they're the real deal, feels like. They have come together after struggling in the early part of the season to have a beautiful renaissance.
Who needs names when you've got Mojo? TT State. And they come in with a very clear...
We got